Hello, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is a conversation in jazz, where we are promoting jazz through telling the stories. Our guest today is a veteran drummer and band leader who is also a multiple award-winning artist. He has recorded and toured with the likes of Billy Preston, the Rolling Stones, Larry Graham, and Barry White, to name a few. Please welcome Mr. MANUEL Manny Kellough. We ask you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so we can let you know when we are posting another video or going live. We also ask you to donate to our Cash App in order to support the channel and help us to produce future videos. Our Cash App is $Jazzology101. That's $Jazzology101. Enjoy the video. Hi, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is a conversation in jazz. Our guest today is not only a veteran drummer and band leader, but he's also a multiple award-winning artist, consultant, and advisor with extensive experience in various aspects of the music industry. He has recorded and toured with the likes of Billy Preston, the Rolling Stones, Larry Graham, and Barry White, to name a few. He is the leader of the Manny Kellough Jazz Quartet. Please welcome my good friend and brother, the one and only Mr. MANUEL Manny Kellough. How you doing, brother?
All right, my man. How you doing?
Good, man. Welcome to the show. This is a conversation in jazz.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And we just having a conversation, man. I think I met you at Westminster Church or somewhere. We were playing, but you were playing jazz.
Right.
And and then we just did we're gonna talk about your project we just did.
Okay.
And here I am, man. I didn't know you who you were. So we're gonna get to know a little bit more about you. So for those who may not know you, can you please tell our audience who you are and some things you've done in the music industry?
I'll be glad to share that with you. My name is Manny Kellough. I come from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
I started playing drums at the age of 8 years old in Pleasant Hill Baptist Church.
Okay.
I moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, where I lived for about 10, 15 years, still playing jazz in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. From Las Vegas, I moved to the East Coast to Virginia, where I reside right now.
Okay. All right. So, and between all that, there's a lot happening.
But a lot happening, bro.
And we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
For the record, your birth name is MANUEL Kellough?
Manny Kellough.
Manuel Kellough.
Yes.
I always called you Kellough.
I do too.
All right. But we're going to call you Manny.
That's fine
That's,
with me.
That's
yeah,
your
that's my name.
That's your short nickname?
Manny.
Manny.
Yeah.
Okay. What has it been like being Manny Kellough?
It's been a wonderful ride, man, and I would not trade it for anything.
Yeah.
I put it this way: if I could start all over again, I would do it and love to do it. Every step of the way, from elementary school all the way up to right now. It's been wonderful, man. It's a blessing.
You mentioned that you were born in L.A.?
Yes.
And you came up in L.A.?
Yes, I did.
What was it like coming up in L.A. at the time you were coming up?
At the time I was coming up in L.A., it was fun. It was a lot of, everybody looked forward to going to school. Mm-hmm. There were some gangs. There was not a lot of violence, but I was blessed to say that I had a God-fearing family that raised me, to know right from wrong. And again, my grandmother, my dear grandmama, always told me, son, you just keep on living.
Keep on living.
And I hear that every day.
Yeah.
I get caught up in a tangle or something. She said, just keep on living.
Yeah.
Just keep on living.
Because I'm from the East Coast.
Okay.
And so I noticed in the West Coast it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
When I went to Howard, most people from the West, they seem very nice. I don't know if it had to do with the weather. They just seem very nice, and laid back.
Laid back.
Yeah. Was it like that?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't. See, LA is like you say. East Coast is very hyper.
Yeah.
West Coast is just really laid back.
So,
We just kept on living.
So you didn't have to do you didn't have to fight and hold out coming up?
Antonio, I think in my whole life, I think I've had one fight in my life.
Wow.
And that was in junior high school.
Wow.
One fight.
Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't had a fight since then.
Yeah. And I asked, sometimes I talk about when I interview people, I ask them to share how it was when they came up, because I came up, you didn't worry about getting shot.
Right.
Or, you could hang out and you might get in a fight, but you live to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You respected the elders. We had communities. We had neighborhoods, and that, I guess they call them hoods now, but.
Yeah.
And so, did you come up in that kind of environment? Like, you respected the adults, there were communities, families, and that sort of thing?
Yes, we did, man. Not only did you respect your parents, you better.
Yeah.
You didn't have no choice.
That's right.
But you respected, we were raised to respect all, like you said, all the elders. People down the street, around the corner, in that community.
Yeah.
And every time I travel back to LA, I have to go through my community and look back.
Yeah.
And I point out, I said, that's the house I was raised up in.
Wow.
Then the community is what brought me up,
Yeah. Is it different now?
Yeah, big different, but the neighborhood is still there.
Okay.
It's still there.
Wow.
So the house that I grew up in is still there.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
Wow. So do you come from a musical family?
No, I didn't. My mama, she tried to play the piano. She had, you remember them upright pianos?
Yeah.
She tried to play a little piano. At that time, I didn't know no better.
Yeah.
But she tried to play the piano and tried to get me to take piano lessons, and she hired the best piano professors. Matter of fact, the piano teacher's name was Professor Wilson, and I just couldn't stand the piano then.
Wow.
She wanted me to play the violin. I didn't like the violin. I wanted to play the drums.
Okay.
But she was the only one in the family that was musical.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do.
Well, did they play any musical instruments?
My daughter, who is on my CD.
Yeah, I know you have a daughter that's a musician.
Yes.
But do any of your siblings, like brothers and sisters, and that's?
I have none.
Oh, you don't have any brothers?
I have a play brother.
Okay.
His name is Rockford Peoples, and he's a saxophone player, and he admires your playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's in L.A. I'm sorry, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you was the only child?
Yes, sir.
Were you spoiled?
I don't think I'm spoiled. I don't think I'm spoiled, because I wasn't given a lot, but then there were things I was given. But after I got to a certain plateau, or should I say a certain age, I was cut off, and I had to fend for myself.
Gotcha.
And I think of that age, I was like maybe around 16, where I had to get out and get my own job and wash dishes in places, work in the supermarket, bag groceries and stuff like that. I've never forgotten any of that.
Wow.
But that's it for me, man. Yeah.
Now, was drums your first instrument?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And what attracted you to the drums?
Church.
Really?
There was a.
You played in church?
That's where I started, in church.
Okay.
Yeah. But a deacon by the name of Deacon Avery, he was the drummer for the church.
Okay.
And I used to sit down and watch him every Sunday. Just watching him. He had one of them big old 24-inch bass drums and a hi-hat and a snare drum. And I just enjoyed what he was doing, playing them old 1-2 beats. And I used to, Deacon Avery, can I play the drums? Go on, sit down somewhere, young boy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he got tired of me asking him if I could play the drums. And one Sunday I asked him, I said, Deacon Avery, let me play, I can play that. And I didn't know if I could play it or not, but I did. I got up there, he said, okay, come on up here. And I came down, sat down, and did just what he was doing, you know.
Wow. Through observation?
Huh?
You learned through observation?
Just, yes, to this very day I do.
Wow.
Yes. I didn't even know if I could play the drums or not, Antonio, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. Until that first Sunday, I sat down and copied what he did, because he was doing it just plain old church music.
Wow.
You know, and then that's where it started right there. And I did just what he did.
Yeah. You know, some of the greatest musicians come out of church.
To this very day.
And they learn that way. They through observation. They just like they listen and they learn and they find a feeling and they come out and when they move on and start studying deeper, they turn out to be some very great musicians.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So how's the church informed you as a musician and as a person coming up playing in the church?
Well, like I was just saying, basically, it taught me, again, we're going back to respect again. Respect the instrument and respect who your teachers are and what you're doing. That's basically what I can tell you about that, you know, other than the fact that that's where I got my basic roots from.
Yeah.
It was the church heart. My values and interests is from the church.
Yeah.
And I still do it today. I don't play in church, but I go.
Yeah.
And I go and I love.
I know when you send me a message, you always mention God.
I have to, man. I have to, man.
Yeah.
Because if it was not for God, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Where would I be?
That's right. That's right.
I just kept on living, man.
Yeah.
I understood that too, see.
Yeah.
But to this very day, man, I love church, you know. And when the pandemic hit and I couldn't go to church, it was just empty.
Wow.
You know, just an empty feeling. Even though I went, I didn't play, but I was just enjoying the service, enjoying the choirs, enjoying them young drummers.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff I play, I don't understand. I can't even play that. I don't. If you told me to get up and play that, I'd be looking at what? Me? I can't play that.
Yeah.
But I admire the young drummers, man. I admire them. Some of them I go just down, sit and look and see what I can learn. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are in this business. When you get to the point where you figure you can't learn, you washed up, get out of the business.
That's right.
You know, and I'm still learning, man.
Yeah.
Still
So did you ever study music formally?
I did. Yes, I did, all the way through school.
You-
Not as a private, I didn't have a private teacher because my mother couldn't afford it.
Oh, wow.
A lot of my stuff, a lot of my training was in school, from playing the little snare drum in elementary
band.
school, and,
Yeah.
you know, worked my way up, and then high school, jazz, orchestra, dance band, marching band.
You was in a marching band in high school?
All of them, man, all of them.
yeah.
All of them.
Wow.
You know, you had to.
And then you went to college as well, right?
Yes, I went to USC.
Were you studying music?
Yes, I did. Gerald Wilson was my professor
Oh, wow.
back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about your college and how they... now, what kind of music were you listening to coming up?
I'm going to say I was listening in high school. Man, I was listening to the jazz in high school.
Straight ahead?
Straight ahead. That's where I first got introduced to Ahmad Jamal.
Wow.
And we had a music teacher, band teacher, that would write stuff for us.
You remember his name?
Mr. Lombardo.
Did he have a big impact on you?
Yeah, he did, man. Shoot, he told me one time I got carried away and played a whole bunch of. he turned around and slammed the piano down. He told me, "You sound like a broken down milk truck going over a bumpy road."
Wow.
I settled down, didn't play that no more. He told, "Get up, get out of here."
Really?
You know, man. He didn't play.
Yeah.
He was only about 5'3".
Right. Wow.
Yeah. But I learned a lot from him. We was playing Duke Ellington stuff, Satin Doll. Back then, when I was in high school, you know, bling, boom, bling, all that kind of stuff.
So, do you remember when you first got exposed to jazz? Was that in high school? Was that, or like, were you listening to jazz on the radio, and was like, wow?
Kind of both. I was listening to it on the radio and in high school because we had a noon jazz club. And so that's where all the hip people would go, so-called hip people. To the jazz club, we sit up with our dark glasses on and listen to Coltrane and Cannonball Adderley and Ahmad Jamal, Poinciana. That's the kind of stuff we was listening to in
Now, were
high
you
school.
listening to any R&B and all that other stuff?
Of course, but not as much as jazz.
So you were straight up into jazz.
I loved jazz before I went into R&B.
Wow.
And then I did my R&B stint, you know. I think we'll talk about that. But basically, I was doing jazz. I had a jazz quartet, man, in high school, and we played for the high school assemblies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you initially tried to be focused on becoming a jazz drummer.
I loved it. I loved it, man. Back then, 50 years ago or better. Yeah.
Now, are there any drummers that significantly influenced you or had an impact on you? Drummers.
Absolutely. I listened to Cozy Cole from the Count Basie band. Sonny Stitt was in the Count Basie band, played horn. Also,
Any drummers like that? Cozy.
Cozy Cole.
Okay, Cozy.
I listen to this very day. The drummer that plays for used to play for Tony Bennett. Oh, excuse me, I'm having a senior moment.
That's all right.
But
It'll come back to you.
it'll come back to me, man. There's so much going on right now. But
Was it so? Cozy? Would you say Cozy had the biggest influence on you?
Cozy, because he did a lot of brush work.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love the brush work to this very day. And if you notice, I love doing brush work, you know.
So what schools did you attend in elementary? You went to school in L.A.?
Yes, I did.
We want to give your school some love. Shout out.
Yeah, I went to, my grade school was Union Avenue Elementary School.
Okay.
From Union Avenue, I went to junior high school, which was called Virgil Junior High School. From Virgil Junior High School, I went to Belmont High School.
Okay.
Finished at Belmont, went from Belmont to L.A. City College. From L.A. City College, went to USC.
Okay. And I read you got your Bachelor of Arts in Music History and Music Performance.
Yes, sir.
From the University of Southern California.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Wow.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I wish I can get them
So
days back.
At what point did you know, okay, I want to pursue music as my life's calling? Was it early on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From church.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know.
I tell people a lot of times, because I was 10 when I started playing saxophone, and I knew this is what I wanted to do since the age of 10.
You know, I was at the age of 8 and knew that's what I wanted to do, see?
And it really makes a difference in directing your, the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
Because everything I did, I just followed this urge to try to learn to learn music and learn how to play. And it led me from here to college, to this school. I went to Performing Arts High School, to Howard, and so forth. And I just followed that. But a lot of people, they still don't know what they really love to do.
That's true.
And so,
especially when it comes to the youngsters, man. I think us as professional players, we probably run into this challenge where they want to be either on the sports, or torn between sports and music. You know, so it's kind of a battle with them right now. I think, because they really don't know where they are. They see the basketball players out there making buku money, you know. And on that note, when I was in high school, I tried to be a football player. You see what I said? I tried to be a football player. Because I wanted to get all the ladies, man. The ladies like the athletes. But I got my knee dislocated The first day on the field.
Really?
The first game.
Really?
Wow. Probably the first half. And I haven't been back on the football field since then. And I don't care nothing about sports to this very day. The next day I was in the band room
Wow.
with my crutches sitting on the stool playing the bass drum to this very day. And that's when I knew this is what I want to do, you know.
Wow. So, do you remember when you first started gigging?
I first started gigging in high school. I played with a gentleman, played vibes. His name was Sonny Pompey. He had a little quartet. We used to play for these little weddings and stuff. It was Sonny on vibes. We had a piano player, bass player, and myself.
And you played jazz?
Yeah, that was it back then, man. Older cats too, and I was the youngest one in the band. Again, you know.
Now, and I read that at the age of 17,
Yes.
you got to play with Ray Charles.
Yeah.
How did that happen? You were playing jazz, right?
No. Matter of fact, when I was with Ray Charles, I had a little high school band called the Rhythm Rebellion. Ray Charles liked our band, and he took us on the road, took us under his wing, and we opened up his shows for him, you know, for the exposure and everything. He just cared that much about it as youngsters. And we were traveling with Ray. We ended up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You probably know where that is.
Yeah.
And we were playing at the Latin Casino. Ray was at the Latin Casino, and we was going to open up the show for Ray. Ray's drummer got sick.
Oh boy.
On opening night.
Wow.
Who else was there to play? Get thrown in the pit right then. So that's how I got to play with Ray Charles, and I'm sitting down, you know, all cocky and stuff. You know.
Really?
I'm
You were confident?
no, I'm not confident. Not confident. Cocky.
You said.
I didn't say confident.
Yeah, you.
I was cocky. You know, I had my cymbals 9 feet up in there. I was a show drummer back then. You know what I'm talking. And I was playing, and Ray would jump up and hit the drum. Ray turns, wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute, darling. And he said, settle down, baby, settle down.
Wow.
And I settled down, and I said, what was he talking about? You know, settle down. And then he said it again. Wait a minute, baby. So I said, maybe he wants me to play less, play a little quiet. So I just settled, laid back and played less. You know, he said, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
He said, that's what I'm talking about, baby?
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow, beautiful. You know, yeah. Oh, man, that's beautiful.
But he called me in his dressing room at the end of the night. And by the time he could change shirts, he had gave me a lesson that stuck with me to this very day. He said, let me tell you something, darling. Ain't nobody come here to see you.
Wow.
He said, one day, your name will be on the marquee. Then you can shoot all the arrows you want.
Wow.
But until that day, darling, stay out the way.
Wow.
That was
heavy.
it. Until this day, I carry that with me, man. That's how I cherish myself, and I award myself, and, you know, I'm confident saying I can be an accompanist because I've been through that school of playing behind players, singers, and getting fired, playing too much, getting cussed out on stage, getting sent home. And it's not what you can play. It's if you can play what they want you to play.
Yeah.
And from that day on, from what Ray Charles told me then, 60 years later, it's still embedded in my brain and in my heart, you know.
Now, so you were playing jazz, and you were playing. You had was that an R&B? Was that a jazz band or R&B band?
That was strictly an R&B show band. You know, back then they had their little show bands. And
I'm saying the band that you said that Ray Charles heard y'all playing, right?
Yeah, that was
a show
R&B show band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think we had like a 6-piece group, and cats up front, singer and bass player, piano player, and myself on drums, 2 horns.
Were y'all playing original music?
No,
Y'all just
all
playing-
cover stuff
okay,
back there.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And Ray Charles just happened to hear you?
Yes, Billy Preston told him about us,
Wow.
and this we haven't got to that
Yeah,
yet. But
yeah. So was Ray Charles the first name cat that you played with?
yes,
Wow.
yes.
And so, how long did you play with Ray?
Just that weekend.
It was just for that weekend?
Just until the drummer got, well.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Okay.
it was that Friday night. I played Saturday night, and his drummer came back and finished the show. I was glad. I was glad he was coming back, but again, I was still learning. I was hoping that he was going to still be sick because
Yeah.
I was learning them 2 days.
Yeah.
I understood what Ray wanted. I understood how to play behind him and stay out the way,
Yeah.
But again, I was glad when his
Now,
drummer
what was
came
it like playing with Ray Charles?
Scary.
It was scary?
Very scary because you can't hide nothing from Ray Charles.
Oh, he can hear. Yeah,
He can hear it before you play it. he can hear it before you play it, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. He would turn around and in your section. He'll tell a tenor play a second tenor. You're supposed to, bar number 99. That's supposed to be a B flat, darling.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
He ain't reading no music, but he knew
Yeah.
that's what he wanted you to play. You
He
could
was a
not
master.
forget.
He was-
Master. You couldn't
yeah.
flub nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. I did a thing with Prince, and man, they want it exact, perfect. It's like walking on eggshells, man. So I know that feeling. It's like, and you can't. I remember we were on the stage at his Paisley Studios in Minneapolis, and we were performing, rehearsing or whatever. And as he was walking down the steps, and he told one of the singers who were playing the tambourine, "No tambourine on the third beat." And he,
Really?
so it was like, and I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, they hear everything.
No tambourine on the third beat.
Yeah, so whatever she was doing, he didn't want it on the third beat or whatever. And so I was just like, wow, they listening to
Everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And remind me when you were saying about Ray, they hear everything.
Billy Preston told me that he was on the plane with Ray once, and Ray liked to fly the plane.
He liked to fly the
He
plane.
liked to, once he get up, he'd sit behind the controls. Now, Billy told me this. He said, Ray was on the plane once, and he told the captain or something, find the nearest airport, I hear the oil leaking. He heard an oil leaking.
Wow.
I said, come on, man. He said, I'm not lying to you. He went down, they landed the plane, I guess somewhere, I don't know where. And he said they went out and checked the plane and there was an oil leak. He heard the oil leak. That's how more sensitive can you be?
Wow.
But they say when you lose something, you
Get
gain
that other
something
sense,
else,
yeah. Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a musical philosophy or a life philosophy that
I think my philosophy would be be true to what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, but take it seriously. Have fun with the music, and then I'm always gonna say, keep on living.
All right. There you go. Now we're gonna talk about some of your professional career.
Okay.
Okay. You have a career that spans 60 years. Wow.
Thank God.
You have performed with some of the greatest and most renowned artists in the music industry. Give us a sort of chronology of how your career has evolved from performing with one legendary artist to the next. Okay, so we talked about Ray Charles at 17, right? Who was next?
I think after Ray Charles, we came to the year of, I'm talking professional. Even before that, man, can I go back a little bit?
Go ahead.
I'd like to go back to when I had my professional debut at the age of 13.
Wow.
That really set up the stage. I played with a group called the Whirlwinds, and they were a Platters type group. And, you know, I wanted to play with the group, and I had to get permission from my mother and all of this. And all of them came to the house and asked my mother if I could play. And she said, well, there wasn't no money back then. She said, well, what you gonna do? What you mean play for? Where you gonna be playing at? You know, where's this place located? It was a little old restaurant up on a street called Vermont. And the only way that I could get in there, I had to go through the back door and come through the kitchen and sit out in the restaurant area. And the way they paid me was I used to eat apple pie and ice cream. Back then.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to give you that little bit to kind of set the stage to bring it up. But getting into more years, 1970 is when I got into the Billy Preston years.
Was that your first big thing after the Ray Charles and?
No, this was after Ray, because Billy introduced us to Ray Charles. After that, Billy came into play. He came again. I met Billy at this place in Mavericks Flat in LA called Mavericks Flat. It was like a little nightclub where our band was playing. And so one night I got bold. After we played, he was leaving, and I cornered him off in the parking lot. I ran out to the parking lot to try to catch him before he left, because he never hung around. So I managed to catch him. I said, Billy, you know, I'd like to be your drummer. And he stopped and looked at me. You know, he said, oh, you would, huh? I said, yeah, I'd love to play for you. And he kind of paused and said, all right, I like the way you play too. And he gave me his phone and he said, well, let's talk. Call me tomorrow. Again, I called. You know how you get to, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
That went on for a couple of days. And then he called me back finally. He said, this is Billy Preston. Can you come out to my house? I said, sure. And I went out. He lived at a place called, we call it the Hudson House in L.A.
He's from L.A.?
He was from L.A., yeah. Okay. Originally, he was from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
But I went to his house, and we sat down and talked, and we played. At that time, he had a Hammond B3 in his house. I sat down with him and played with his little group called Billy Preston and the Soul Brothers. So I played behind them for a while. That led into him going into A&M Records. I recorded his very first album on A&M.
Wow. So you connected with him before he started putting his albums out?
No. Before I got with Billy, he was with Apple Records.
Okay.
So I actually met with him in the transition.
Okay.
Going from Apple Records into A&M.
Gotcha.
Because he couldn't really do nothing while he was at Apple. Because he just had to let that lie.
Yeah.
Until he got to A&M. But when we got to A&M, everything was fresh right then.
Wow. And so, did he have a drummer already? You took his spot? How did it?
The drummer he had, I can't remember. I think his drummer's name was. If I can remember, the drummer's name was Soko. He also used to play with Ike and Tina. I took Soko's place because Soko went on to be with Ike and Tina. Okay. And I went on with Billy.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to come back. I'm going to come back and talk about Billy because you played with Billy for about 25 years.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to, but you also played with Barry White?
I did a recording session with Barry White. I think we kind of talked about this once before. You remember how they used to have players call them ghost writers? And I was a ghost writer on one of his tracks. Yeah, and I got paid, but never get the credit, man. So I hear that. Matter of fact, I hear that tune played to this very day.
Really?
And I hear it, and I tell, that's me right there. But I was too excited, man, to play with somebody like that.
So you were writing lyrics and all that?
No, I didn't.
You were just dealing with the music?
Just writer, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I don't know how to write.
Okay.
I don't know how to write. I'm not a writer.
Gotcha.
but I was just a player. I guess they call them ghost riders.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
I didn't do any
Gotcha.
writing, but I just rode the track.
Yeah.
You know, which back then a lot of us did.
Yeah.
You know,
Setting up the groove. And,
setting up the groove. They liked the way I
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
You know, and I laid the groove down, and that was it. I was just
would you mind
excited.
sharing us what song that is?
Yeah, I don't mind. The tune was "Can't Get Enough."
Wow.
It's on
Is that you on that track?
It's on commercials to this very day.
Can't Get Enough? That's you?
Yes.
Wow.
Again, I'm just.
What
a
is
ghost
that
writer.
like, man? I mean, that's a hit. That song. That's one of his hits.
One of his hits.
Yeah. And it's
But
like,
it was just great being there because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I was excited to play with them, you know. And again, this is something else that Billy set up. He said, "Hey," but then he started calling me the Deacon. Deke, Barry White wants to know if you can do a session with him. I said, "Sure." So what am I supposed to do? Just do what you do. And I went in and played the tune, you know, got paid triple scale. And that was it. The money was gone the next day as soon as I went to the union and got my little check.
wow.
But you don't get any credit for it, you know, and that's the notoriety is what you look for.
Yeah. Carmen McRae.
Man, 1970, I want to say 1977-ish, before she passed away. I got called to play with her. Matter of fact, I was playing with Freddie, and the bass player that played with
playing
Freddie,
with who?
Freddie Hubbard.
You playing with Freddie Hubbard?
I did a tour with Freddie because he got rid of his drummer, or a drummer quit, or you know they always had these issues with cats being in the way or getting hung up or arguing, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, Freddie's bass player, his name was Larry Klein, excellent young player. Then he went on to play with Carmen.
Okay.
So I'm sitting at home one night, minding my own business, and Larry called me. He said, "Hey, Manny, are you available right now?" I said, "Why? What's happening? What you need?" "Carmen McRae needs a drummer to come play." I said, "Man, you kidding?" He said, "Can you come out?" I said, "Well, where are you?" He said, "We're out at Howard Rumsey's." That was a well-known jazz spot. Howard Rumsey's by the sea to this very day. If it might be gone now. But she was there.
Wow.
I said, "Well, I'll be there." She said, "Well, she's firing the drummer after the first set."
She fired the drummer after the first. Wow.
After the first set, man. So I said, "Okay, do I need to bring?" She said, "No, drums are here. Just bring your six and come on out." I got out there, and true enough, there was no drummer to finish the show or that weekend. I had no hide nor hair what I was going to play.
Wow.
And then I could read really pretty good, you know, because I was still kind of young. He put the paper down me. Plus, I kind of knew her stuff, you know, Clear Day and stuff like that. But I followed well, you know. I followed, and he said, "Just whatever you do, just play and stay out the way." What did Ray Charles say?
Charles, yeah.
See, and Carmen McRae never turned around and told me to be quiet. She never fussed at me or nothing. And at the end of the night, she said, "Thank you very much. I like the way you play."
Wow.
And Larry said, "Man, that's the first person she ever told that." Because they usually don't last because, you know, they're too busy.
Yeah.
Which you know how we get, we're trying to play too much.
Yeah.
Everything we learn in one note, in one bar.
Yeah.
And vocalists don't want you to do that.
That's right.
You're not there for you.
Exactly.
You know, you're there for them. Like me being on your gig playing drums every bar.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And he said, "Man, can you do the weekend?" He was the MD for her, and I did.
And sometimes that makes a difference between a person that's getting all the gigs and somebody that's doing their own thing and they killing it, but you know, like Grady Tate, they say they just loved he knew how to support the music, and so I guess that's something. Now, do you teach young drummers that concept of how to support the music?
Basically, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I'll say it all the time. Stay out of the way. Just because you learn every rudiment in the book, play that in your rehearsal on your pad. But when you get on somebody else's show that's paying you to be there and paying your way to, your food and stuff, that ain't your gig.
Wow.
Stay out the way.
Stay out the way.
You're not going to keep no gig by showing how much you've learned in school. They could care less.
That's right.
Just sit down and respect. Here we go again. Respect them.
Yeah.
Respect the music, have fun with it, but stay out the way.
All right. Larry Graham Central Station.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get hooked up with? Now, I think you told me that 1 in a Million. That's you on the drums.
I played on 1 in a Million, and also the album that went gold called "Ain't Nobody Doubt It."
Wow.
I'm kind of known for this voice. You might even remember it yourself. On that, "Ain't Nobody Doubt It" was a tune called "The Jam," where everybody was introduced. And I was the voice that said, "Oh, Sodikai.
Really?
I am Manuel. They call me the Weekend." That was my voice.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Everybody thought it was a Chinese guy.
That's you?
That was me.
Wow.
But prior to that, to answer your question, the way I got with Larry, Larry had a keyboard player. His name was Butch. We call him Robert Sam. His name was Robert Sam. And he also played with Billy back in the day. Passed away now. He left Billy and went on to Larry Graham.
Okay.
When Billy went on kind of like a hiatus, he took a break from traveling and all that stuff. Again, I got called to fill in to replace Willie Sparks, was Larry's original drummer. Willie Sparks got sick, and so I was able to come right in and step right in. I went up to Oakland, did a rehearsal with Larry, stayed the weekend, learned a lot of the stuff, and shoot, we was on tour that next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I met Larry once when I did the thing with Prince.
Yeah.
Very nice guy, man.
Very nice.
Yeah, he was always, was he very nice back then?
He's till this very day.
Yeah. Nice guy. But man, that 1 in a Million, that's you on drums?
Yes, sir.
See, that song is special to me because when I was coming up, we used to have the basement parties. I'm from Philly.
The blue light parties.
Yeah, the blue light party. And back in them days, we used to have slow jams where you get a girl and you slow jam.
Yeah, we did. Belly rub.
Yeah.
Did a little grinding back.
Yes, sir. Man, they put that 1 in a Million on. Come on, man. So that song, and when I was at your house, your home,
yes,
and you told me that, man, that just blew my mind, man. I said, that's you on drum.
Yeah, man.
1 in a Million. Wow. Do you remember being in a studio recording that song?
Actually, that particular tune was done at Larry's house.
It was done at
It was done at his house. Same place we did the audition, where I did the audition and the rehearsal.
Wow.
It was, he had his track set up there. We laid it down there, just basic track. He took it in the studio, transferred it, and it went from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. Wow. Man. The Rolling Stones.
My buddies.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
Again, being with Billy Preston.
Okay.
I have to always acknowledge Billy because a lot came through him from just doing what I do.
Yeah.
And being dedicated and playing the part, and having fun with it and being excited.
Yeah.
Billy's group went out on tour with the Rolling Stones. We did a European tour back in 1973. It was called the Goat's Head Soup Tour. And Billy's group was the opening act for the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
When Billy's group went off, which we got a great applause and everything, and we made sure we was gonna do it because opening act, you can't waste your time.
Yeah.
You got to kick butt.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got to come out and do it.
Yeah.
So after then, we went off, and then I came back and I would play percussion with the Stones.
Okay.
And matter of fact, good buddy of mine passed away about a month ago. Charlie Watts was the drummer. We used to sit together a lot. And he tried to get me to come back and play drums one night on their show.
Wow.
He kept saying, you know, I said, no, I'll stay Rob. I mean, I was like right on the edge of the stage like this. I said, I'll stay here. I was just playing percussion, tambourine, cowbell. I was having fun up there on the end of the stage, but we did that. We did about 60 dates with them in Europe. Yeah.
Wow.
One-nighters.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, all across Europe.
So did you record with the Rolling Stones as well?
No.
Okay.
But a lot of the stuff that was did on that tour was recorded.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I'm on some of it. I don't know which what it was, but Billy did a album recorded live on that tour. It's called Live in Europe.
Okay.
And it was never released in the States. It was released in Europe, and I was on that. Yeah. Okay. I helped mix that.
You mentioned earlier that you used to watch this. I was going to ask you, did you ever have a day job?
Shoot, yeah, man. Yeah. The way I paid for my first set of drums was my stepfather. I kept worrying him about getting some drums. And he said, I'm going to get you these set of drums, but you going to work for him. He had a little maintenance business.
Okay.
And I had to get up here. No matter how late I finished playing drums on a Friday night, where I was playing, what time I came in, I had to get up with him and go clean up this place.
Yeah.
You know, do the mopping. That's how I learned how to mop, man.
Wow.
That's how I paid for my first set of drums, you know, with him.
So once you connected with Billy, were you making good money?
When we first started?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No, man. We made some money, but mainly we were all out there doing pretty good. I think when we started with Billy, I think I might have been making, I'm going to say maybe $300-400 a week.
Okay.
Again, it was about the excitement and being with Billy Preston and A&M Records. I was playing on all this stuff.
Wow.
So it was promotional things. But then as we went on, we started doing pretty good, man. We went from staying to 2 people in the room to having our own room to having a suite apiece.
Yeah, wow.
You know, that was laying down. You know, we played Carnegie Hall 3 times.
Wow.
I think we played all the big places, you know.
Yeah.
Then we winded up making some pretty good money, you know.
Before, we were talking about being nervous before you play. Were you playing with all these cats, were you nervous?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Before every show, I get nervous to this very day. Every show.
Wow.
I got a show coming up. I'm nervous right now.
Wow.
Yes,
Even with all these years of playing with these great
I still
artists.
get nervous, man.
Wow.
I still get nervous. I met, if you don't mind, to give you a little history on that statement. Years back, again, when I was with my little rock and roll band, we were playing in Mexico City and had a chance to meet Sammy Davis Jr. And he invited us to come to his show and go to his dressing room and stuff and meet him. Just talk like we're talking now. And he sat around and he said, whenever you cats stop getting nervous, get out the business. You know, you're gonna always get butterflies. And when you stop getting them butterflies, you get out the business. You cats. You know, he's always his favorite word. You cats. You know, that stuck with me to this very day, man. Again, I'm still living, and I know what he's talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got some good teaching.
Yeah. Well, every gig is an important gig to me.
Okay.
There's no little gig.
You
know, and I treat them all like that. You know, whether I'm playing at a little jive club, or playing in a big arena, or playing in a big festival, every gig is important, and I treat it as such. You know, I get nervous. I got to do this. You know, is this going to happen? Am I going to hit this beat right? Am I going to remember how this goes? It's just natural, man. You know.
So with Billy Preston, was it fun, like playing and touring with him?
it was fun playing every night, man.
Really?
With Billy, you never knew what to expect.
Really?
You know, I knew how the music was going to go, but I never really knew what he was going to do because it changed pretty much every song. You know, he's going to do his hits.
Yeah.
But he may get up and dance. He may just get up off the organ and dance all the way from here across the stage.
Now, what kind of cat was he?
Very nice. Very nice. I remember one time that we were in New York, man, again, going back to, you know, getting started, and I didn't have any money, you know, and lo and behold, we was in his suite. We was all sitting around, and everybody was talking about they was wanting to get something to eat, you know, and I think he heard me say, I'm going to head back to our room because I don't have no money. And he said, what you mean you don't have no money, Deke? I don't know if that insulted him or what, you know, but it upset him because, you know, I was playing with him, but still I didn't have any money. He said, he got quiet for a minute. He went in his pocket, came out and gave me $100 bill, so get yourself something to eat, you know.
Wow.
Never asked for it back. And that was one occasion. That wasn't the only time.
Yeah.
You know, there's many times where he'd say, Deke, you all right?
Yeah. So y'all developed a friendship.
Very much, very close. Billy told me one time that, you know, I kind of questioned about his family and stuff. And he said, you know, Deke, you like my brother, man. He said, I take you in like brother because you're the brother that I lost. My brother died.
Wow.
And you that brother that died to me.
Wow.
And from that day on, I was a part of the family.
Wow.
And even all the sisters have passed away except for one. Her name is Letty, and she's still in Houston. But they will all tell you before they passed away if you need to know something. They wouldn't even elaborate. You talk to Manny. He was there.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah, he got the history.
yeah.
But yeah, man, he treated, again, family. It was more than a musical relationship. I love Billy, man. Again, he'd give you his shirt off his back. And there's a lot of times he would do more for me, I guess because he respected where I was coming from as a player and as a human being.
Yeah.
You know, more than the other cats. He set up some stuff for me way back then,
Really?
you know, lasted throughout now.
Wow.
And he started going through this legal hassle hang-up, and that kind of disrupted a lot of stuff. But Billy, man, was probably the sweetest person I've ever worked with.
Yeah. Were you his musical director as well?
I was the band leader. No, he was a musical director. I was a band leader. I hired a lot of cats and I fired a lot of cats. If he wanted to bring somebody in, he would say, Deke, I'm gonna get matter of fact, this guy named Hubie Hurd from Cincinnati to play organ. I want you to listen to him and tell me what you think. And Hubie was tough, man. He was, you know, he said, I like him, Billy. He said, you sure you like him? I said, yeah.
So he really trusted your judgment.
Very much.
Wow,
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes, he did. Even when he had to hire like other guitar players. When it come down to the Billy Preston band, when it ended up, there were 4 cats that did all the traveling. It was myself, Billy, Kenny Looper, Hubie Hurd. That was the nucleus. And it was a keyboard band.
Yeah.
And I was a drummer.
Wow. I saw pictures, man. Y'all had these bush. Was that was that the 70s?
That was the 70s look then, man.
Yeah, that was man.
This was the look now.
This is all
look
good.
now,
Yeah. And he had his joint was coming off his hanging on his bush was hanging on his shoulder, man.
Yeah, man. But I mean,
that was the thing. Yeah,
that was the thing. Plus, it was our gimmick. That was our look.
Yeah.
You know, and we got over.
Yeah.
You know, people came to just see that hair bouncing around. And,
Wow. So now, did you enjoy all the perks that came along with being a drummer in a band with all those popular artists? Are there different perks that come along with it?
Sure, man. And the thing about it, I appreciate everything that came along with it. You know, I appreciate being called the Legendary. I appreciate being able to being acknowledged like people like you. It's so much, man, that I think about that. It's overwhelming that I really can't think about everything, but I appreciate everything that's come my way, and I thank God for it.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
know, because if it was not for God, I wouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
where the perks come
yeah,
from.
yeah. I believe some things are just called, already pre-designed. You know, because listening to your story, it was like you was meant to connect with Billy Preston.
I think so, man, because I talk to people like me and you were talking, and as I listen to myself saying things and look back over it, I have to acknowledge that Billy was the one that put it all in place.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
through him, you know, through God, through him wanting me to be there. And God puts people in your life for a reason. You know, me and you met for a reason.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
know,
Yeah.
Way back at Westminster up to right now.
Yeah.
You know, we never thought we would be where we are now.
No doubt.
And we don't know where we're going from this day on. But we just got to keep on living and look forward to it. But everything I appreciate and I thank God for Billy. And I applaud him and I celebrate his life.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you meet being in the industry? Because you were on the inside of the industry, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you meet other famous people? Like I think you told me that you're the drummer on the Sanford Son thing.
Again, I was excited to do that. Again, another ghostwriter. I got paid triple scale to be there. Quincy Jones, yeah, man. Billy Preston again.
Wow.
Because that's Billy Preston doing all that keyboard work.
Wow.
And he brought me along. So how am I supposed to say no? You know, I'm looking at Quincy. I didn't really know that it was going to be no TV thing, but it was just another another recording session.
That thing funky.
To this very day.
Yeah, man. That's woo.
I wish.
And that's you playing the drums on that?
Drums and percussion, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Another ghostwriter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad to be there. I was glad to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, Chuck Rainey was playing bass. I didn't know
Aren't you supposed to get a check per episode or something?
I got paid for this session, man.
Wow.
I got paid triple scale for this session.
So you got to meet Quincy?
I met Quincy.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I see him again, I have to kind of make him remember who I am. Because when I was a kid, you know, and if he thinks about it, he'll kind of remember. At least he says he does, you know. But that was so long. We're talking about 45, 50 years ago, man, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be able to remember back that far, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Were there any other artists that you've met that you still in the industry that you still know today, or you still?
Most of them, Antonio, have passed away.
Okay.
I worked with Cuba Gooding, main ingredient. Again, I think I told you Freddie Hubbard. Carmen McRae. I worked with, I'm trying to remember on my list, James Cleveland.
Wow.
A lot of these people are gone on, man. I mean, the people that was in my era.
Yeah, wow.
That I had the pleasure of working with are gone on.
Wow.
Larry Graham is, praise God, is still here.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
That's. I mean, I can probably, if I really thought about it, but we're talking 50 years ago, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's one guy that I really started with that I have to also thank before my high school group. His name was Hank Jacobs. And we went to high school together, had a little group called TKOs, Hank Jacobs and the TKOs. He's still living, and we talk to this very day.
Now, you told me that you're the only, from the original Billy Preston band, you're the only one that's here?
Yes, that traveled with him and played on all the hit records.
What,
Sir. The only one.
Wow.
Yeah. From day one till he till that last big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last big hit. Kind of after that, it was kind of started settling down a little bit, you know. But we didn't do anything after. We had 4 major hits. You know.
What else I want to ask you about Billy? Let's talk about that song, "Nothing from Nothing."
Oh boy.
That jump right there. It's just something about it.
Yeah.
When that's you on drums too, right?
Yes, sir.
And did you know that was going to be a hit? When you
No,
first
we
heard
didn't know any of them were gonna be hits.
Really?
No, because we'd be in the studio, and a lot of times Billy would just come in the studio and start playing, you know, and I'm sitting there, and he said, "Come on, play, man."
Yeah.
And to this very day, a lot of the licks on that tune, I listen to myself play. I said, "How did I do that? How did I do that?
Yeah.
That's hard to do that right now."
Yeah.
You know, and there was stuff like I was doing on the bass drum, and kept the bass drum.
Yeah.
But we didn't know because we was creating stuff right then as we went.
Really?
You know, and
Wow.
speaking of Nothing from Nothing, I just did a tribute
Yeah.
to Billy Preston.
Yeah.
Redid that Nothing from Nothing in a jazz version,
Yes, sir.
and I'm proud to say that you were able to be there with
Oh
me.
man, that was beautiful, man. We're gonna talk about that.
Okay, okay.
Your debut CD.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that song has something about it that just says hit to me.
Yeah.
Just the sound of it, and the way he delivered it, and the groove on that, man, is like, wow. It just stays in your head.
It was very simple.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I put my head over here?
Sure. Yeah.
It was very simple. And I think that's why, because there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah,
Again, we were staying out everybody's way.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just, like you said, just a basic, it was just a simple old 2 and 4 groove.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did a lot of people want to hear that when y'all perform?
Yes. Whatever hit was out at the time, people wanted to hear it.
Gotcha.
And that was probably one of the biggest ones, but they were all really big, Antonio.
Wow. Wow. Now, do you when Billy passed?
Yeah.
Did it happen suddenly, or did you kind of? It was, and then how'd you deal with it? How did it hit you?
It hit me like a ton of bricks, but I already knew Billy was sick.
Yeah.
I did not get a chance to visit him in his last days, or even try to encourage him to,
Yeah.
take care of himself. I didn't get a chance to do that because I didn't know where he was. But I was told by, his sisters that he was sick,
Okay.
and they were trying to locate him. But then when they did find him, he was hid away in Arizona.
Okay.
I don't know the location, but that's what I was told. And his sister was the one that put out a detective to find out where he was. I got the call after they had located him, and they went. I think they had a chance to go visit him, but I did not. And that's when they called after they went and visited him. I think they was there the last time, and they called and told me that it was about 5 o'clock in the morning that they called him BP.
BP?
BP passed away.
Oh, wow.
And I just
Yeah.
got quiet. There was
Yeah.
nothing I could do.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't want to go to the funeral, but I had to go.
Yeah.
I was on the front row. I was a pallbearer,
Wow.
and I can see it right there, man.
Yeah.
I see his picture. They didn't have too much because the viewing was like the night before. I'm glad I wasn't there for that. But since I didn't get there for the viewing, they did a special one for me. And just to stand there.
Oh, you did a special viewing?
Yeah,
Wow.
I did a special
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Wow.
Just to stand there and look down, man.
Yeah.
And see him stretched out, man. It breaks me up right
Yeah.
now because we were just that close. And I kept saying to myself, maybe I could have done something because he always listened to me. You know, like I told you, he'd always ask me my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
I probably could have said, "Come on, man. You know, we got to get back out there. Come on, let's. Come on, BP.
Yeah.
You know, we got to get back out there. You know." And he probably would have grinned and said, "Okay, Deke." You know, but that's just how close he was. But yeah, I remember that.
So he's told you were like his brother, but he was like a brother to you too.
Yeah,
because you're the only child, right?
I'm the only child.
Yeah. So y'all was like
it worked both
yeah,
ways.
Yeah. Beautiful.
There were times, man, where like I remember I told you about my mama had that piano.
Mm-hmm.
He would come over to my house. Mama would cook us dinners and stuff, and we'd sit down and eat, and he'd just go to the piano and write stuff.
Wow.
You know, and then we'd go to church together. You know, I'd go to his church. He used to play at Victory Baptist Church. I used to go to Pleasant Hill, and he used to come to my church, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, this was before we got big.
Yeah.
You know, that's how the 25 years went on so far, because we were doing stuff before A&M Records.
Wow.
Just
being
being brothers, you know, and, going to each other's church and playing behind him with him and the B3.
And there's I think on YouTube, when he was a kid playing, I think there's a video of him playing as a kid, playing something.
What was that tune? Wasn't he with Nat King Cole?
Was it Nat King? Yeah, it was somebody, but he was a kid playing. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like a prodigy.
Then.
Yeah.
That was what, like 3. Can
Yeah,
you imagine
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Now we're talking 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Think about 3, and he was playing
yeah.
and singing, and that was in one of his tunes. He said, "God has blessed me to play and sing since the age of 3."
Mm-hmm. So
That's what he's talking about.
Did he have perfect pitching on it?
Yes.
He did. So he was a genius.
Natural.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Did he know like people like Stevie Wonder and all the cats and all that?
Yeah, he did.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they was there a rivalry? Any kind of?
I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
I'll just say that they hung out.
Okay.
Sometimes it wasn't the best to hang out, but they hung out.
Okay.
You know, we ran into each other several times in the studio.
Okay.
One night we were in the studio. We were in one studio, and Stevie was in another studio.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of just a little bit, man. But I never forgot it.
Really?
The little attitude thing, I never forgot it. Yeah.
Well, man, that's when that type of those levels come together, man, it can create that kind of friction. But
such a plateau.
Yeah. But the beautiful thing for humanity is the legacy that's left behind.
Yeah.
That's even survives him and us.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. When you get past the struggle of living and everybody trying to survive and everything. When you create a song like Nothing from Nothing, man, that junk stands the test of time. People still listening to that.
Yes.
To that.
It gets played to this very day.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it would get picked up and the airwaves will put it on as a tribute, to him.
Yeah.
The new jazz version that we had the pleasure of doing.
Now you mentioned, and I don't know if you want to share this, about a documentary or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that something somebody wanted you to be partaking a documentary on it?
Yes, I've been asked to go to New York. Matter of fact, next month, and they're doing a documentary on the life of Billy Preston, and I'm invited to be a part of that documentary to talk about his life and legacy.
Beautiful.
Again, being the only one left to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, that's got to get it.
Got to get it, and you go again. Billy has been
or it goes to the
indicted
grave, right? Or it goes to the grave if you don't get,
Yeah.
And that's why I do this kind of thing, man, because a lot of stories and information goes to the grave because people don't share it, or people don't ask the right questions.
I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah. So
Please keep doing it.
yes,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah, it needs to be done, man. People need to hear stories, and that's how we encourage other people.
Yeah.
And I like to encourage people, to listen to your teachers, and respect what they're doing, respect what they're saying, because they're not saying it just for their health. They're saying it for you.
No doubt. No doubt.
People like Antonio here, I love him to death.
Thank you, my brother. I wanted to talk a little bit about the music industry.
Yes, sir.
Before we go into the things you're doing under your name. Okay. Now, behind all the glitz and glamour of the music industry, you know, as an audience, we get to see the big lights and all that. Are there some things behind the scenes that we don't see that you can share? You can't share all of it, but
I can share one with you. That, my lifetime, my career traveling with Billy, missing a gig, and nobody really knows about that. I'm sharing it with you. Shoot, that was the first gig in my life, big gig. That I caused him to miss. That's behind the scenes, you know.
Wow.
I talk about it every now and then because I'm ashamed of it. But then, when I finally got to the hotel, Billy was so depressed and so pissed, he didn't even want to talk to me. I was his brother. But, you know, I tried to explain to him what was happening. He just rolled, We talking about $100,000 gig back then,
wow.
you know.
Yeah.
And I caused it to be missed, but we were able to make it up. You know, we made it up.
Yeah.
Other stuff behind the gigs, behind the scenes, eating Spam on the road, man. Spam and bagels. We couldn't eat no real good stuff because we didn't have the money to eat a lot of stuff.
Wow.
I remember,
So was Billy making a lot of money?
he was making enough. Enough to pay, you know, the rest of his people. Now we wasn't starving enough when we, you know, because we got better. But when we first started, man, it was a struggle. Yeah. We were on the road with another group. I don't know if you remember a group called Loggins and Messina.
Yeah, I never heard of.
This is back in the 70s. Bonnie and Delaney. Back in the 70s. We were the opening. Well, it was Loggins and Messina. Billy Preston, Bonnie and Delaney. We were all on the same bus together. That was before airplanes would come out. We would sleep on the bus together. We were one of those big Greyhound.
Now, is that called the Chitlin Circuit?
We played them too, man. We played one place in Atlanta where the tractor trailer was bigger than the club.
Wow.
And Billy told him don't even unload the truck because he wasn't gonna do it.
Wow.
We couldn't get the stuff in the club. Chitlin Circuit. We played a place in Houston. Shoot, I think we got there, the doors wasn't even open.
Wow.
You know, I can't remember, but that was in Houston, Texas. I remember.
A lot of people don't know, man. They don't know, like, sometimes, what can go wrong before you get to the gig and just the stress of touring and traveling. Most people see you on stage having fun. They don't know, missing flights or
missing
gigs, missing gigs, whatever.
Yeah.
I've had mine, so things happen.
Yeah, they do, man.
And but
the thing about it, they all bring you to where you are now, because we still living to talk about it.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah.
So how has the music industry changed from the days you were fully steeped into it? Like when you see it today, like for example, back in the day, you can have a hit song, and you eat off that one song because that song can create, a residual income.
That's true. Like
I don't know how they do it today. I mean, because everything's downloaded. I mean,
computerized.
Yeah, and you don't get. Yeah, so the industry has changed since you was in it.
I think today it's very difficult to even get a recording contract because most of your major companies are not giving contracts because most of the artists nowadays got their own contracts, got their own companies, and they're doing stuff on their own. So why do they need the record company? So they'll almost shut the stuff down versus, like you said, us going in the studio back then and recording, and the record company pick it up, and then you got a big hit, you know. But now you pretty much on your own.
Wow.
To fend for yourself, you know, and hope that somebody likes what you're doing and pick up your music.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Or want to interview you and talk about your stuff.
I don't know how they make it nowadays. I mean, I guess you could sell CDs at the gig and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Shit, back then we were selling them out to Trump. Now you selling them at the gig.
Yeah.
You know.
I wanted to share some of your professional accomplishments.
Okay.
That I checked out. Okay, you recorded and toured with Billy Preston, Rolling Stones, Larry Graham, Barry White. You was a ghostwriter. You've won multiple Grammy Award recipients with Billy Preston, Larry Graham, and Graham Central Station.
Yeah.
And you got those gold records on your wall in your basement.
Oh yeah, you saw those, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, that's amazing, man. 4 gold records.
Yes, sir. 4 gold records and 1 gold album.
Wow. Okay. We talked about the Quincy Jones television soundtrack, Sanford Son.
Yeah.
Producer of a flagship Las Vegas Gospel Music Awards ceremony in 2002.
Yeah, that was. I did the first gospel music award show in Las Vegas.
Really?
Yes, and it was called. Matter of fact, I called it Las Vegas Gospel Music Awards.
Okay.
And I don't believe that it's been done since. And something just came over to me and said, there's a lot of gospel talent here in Las Vegas, so I wanted to share that.
Wow.
And I created like a Las Vegas little red carpet Grammy. We had the big searchlight in the sky at a church, limousines bringing up the artists and stuff. Yeah, man. And they turned out. The church was absolutely packed.
Wow.
You know, we did the best pianist, best vocal, best choir, best group, everything.
Man, that's beautiful. I'm going to tell you why that's beautiful. Because, particularly in the black community, I would say, you know, and I tell people, there was a time we had the Negro Leagues. Mm-hmm. There was a Black Musicians Union.
Yes, Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, and we've kind of given up. We've given up a lot of our ownership in things that was, you know, like BET. We had that was sacred to the community, for whatever reason. But one thing I like about what you did with this award is that was we self-validating, meaning that we can put that on. We don't have to. Okay, the Grammy is the Grammy. That's cool, but we can also create a Grammy in our own community.
That's what I tried to do.
Yeah, and that's what I hear when you was telling me that, and I think we need to get back to that, to do things, because everybody's not going to be on a major label. Everybody's not going to be in the Grammys, you know, and everybody, or in that whatever magazine, you know. And I always wonder, why don't we create our own, like, things in our community because we have a lot of talent in the community, to highlight the talent or to showcase the abilities of people who may not have a name, who may not be on a major label, you know. I think we need to do more of that.
I agree with you. You know, I would love to do something like that in our area.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about it. I just don't really know how I would go about doing it right now.
Yeah.
Because back then I had a board of directors.
Yeah.
And everybody saw the same vision that I did. I had pastors involved.
Yeah. Definitely
on
takes
the
a
board.
team.
You know.
It definitely, the teamwork makes the dream work. You know, definitely that. But just the very idea of it is to me what's beautiful. To think that I don't have to get permission to put on an idea. You know.
The only permission that I had to get was to use the church.
Yeah.
I had people that donated to get the awards because everybody thought it was such a great idea.
Wow.
You know, the board members petitioned and asked people to participate. Everybody was involved because, like you, they thought it was such a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, and to this very day, I think someone has tried to come behind me and do it. But my mind was on such a high level.
Yeah.
Being able to be around the Grammys and all these other awards to know how to do it on that level and still keep it in a community, but take it to the highest I could get for this community. Yeah. It was bigger than I thought, man.
Wow.
It turned out to be where they were turning people away from the church.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
I think the award ceremony started like at 7 o'clock, and they couldn't get in there. People were turned away. You know.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I was just in awe, man. You know. I was just so glad to see the prize.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, that's powerful, man, because everything starts with an idea.
Yeah.
And you know, it takes. I'm sure it takes work, and you got to make it happen. But just the idea, and then bringing it to fruition, it had to be fulfilling.
It was,
to see
man.
your vision come to reality.
I had it. Had a local TV station involved, and they were glad to be involved. They came out with their cameras like this here.
Wow.
And set up cameras in the balcony. They must have had about 4 or 5 cameras there. I had an orchestra.
Wow. Yeah, you
know,
did it big time.
Big time. Oh man, it was good. And
Wow.
they recorded and it was recorded
Really?
and televised on the local TV. That's how big it was.
You got any footage of that?
No, sir, I don't.
Wow.
I wouldn't even know how to get it.
Okay.
Because I think that company, I wished I had.
Yeah.
That company went out of business, but I think I have plaques from it.
Okay.
The people that won and the people that was nominated. Next time you come by the house,
Yeah.
I'll share them with you.
Okay, definitely. You were voted best drummer in 2007 by the Black American Music Awards.
Yeah, Las Vegas, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Best jazz drummer.
You developed first jazz cruise series for Celebrity Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I started the jazz program at Royal Caribbean in 2009.
Okay.
That was the flagship. I started with them. The ship that I started was a celebrity ship called the Solstice.
Okay.
And I came out on every one of their big ships.
Wow.
Up until the last one called Reflections.
Uh-huh.
That was on Celebrity. And then the cruise director for Celebrity went over to Royal Caribbean, which is basically the same company, but he became the big guy
Okay.
that was over all of the ships, the whole fleet, and brought me along with him and told me that he wanted me to set up the program, the jazz program for Royal Caribbean.
Wow.
So to this very day, that still runs. I have the jazz club out there. It's called Jazz on 4. And before the pandemic, I was running that club.
Oh, wow.
I was out there like 6 nights a week playing nothing but jazz.
Wow.
The club be full every night, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, every night before I played, I was butterflies. And I was doing this every night.
Wow.
You know, yeah. People would never know it, but shoot.
So you're a consultant to multiple musical workshops and instructional sessions. So you go around sharing your experiences. And
I was doing it at a period of time, like going around pretty much at the youngster school, sitting down with the high school students, sit down and talking, demonstrating, letting them ask questions. And I was never afraid to share the drug scene. You know, I said, just because there's drugs out there, you know, and the industry is known for that, don't mean that you have to be a part of that scene.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, I was around it.
Yeah.
You know, I saw it, and I didn't see it. I can't say I did a little bit back then, but that's how you learn.
Yeah.
That it's either for you or it's not for you. And I try to tell them, you know, just because it's there, you don't have to partake in it.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, what we do is class, and you're supposed to respect it. You know, jazz is class. You know, respect the music.
That's good teaching.
Yes, it is. That's the way I was brought up with them old cats,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
talking.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And you've been featured in national and international drum magazines and other periodicals.
Recently, I just did one for Modern Drummer.
Okay.
I think it's. I just got notified the other day. This guy interviewed me to do an interview for Modern Drummer. This is like the second time I've done Modern Drummer.
And you have a drumstick endorsement?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah?
With Royal Caribbean. I'm sorry. A Regal Tip. I'm sorry.
Okay. Regal tip?
Yeah, Regal Tip.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been endorsed with them for about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Man, that's what's up.
I used to have a cymbal endorsement with Pasty and drum endorsement with Regal or Rogers.
Gotcha.
You know, and Gretsch. So now I'm using Gretsch drums.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after years of playing with different famous artists, in 2002 you formed your own band, the Manny Kellough,
Yeah.
Jazz Quartet. I always called you Kellough.
I say Kellogg too.
Really?
It's just easier to say.
Yeah. Would you say
It's an Irish name. It's really Kellough.
Kellough?
Kellough. Yeah, Kellough.
So
O-U-G-H.
do people call you Manny Kellough?
Some
Or
of them
Kellough?
try to pronounce the last
Kellough.
name. Kellough. I've been called all kind of names. Kellough. But it's really Kellough. Yeah.
Say it again.
Kellough.
Kellough.
Yeah, Irish. Kellough is Irish name.
Kellough. Kellough.
I have
The
two
Manny
Spanish
Kellough.
names and an Irish name.
Okay. The Manny Kellough Jazz Quartet.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get it right.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Performing for doctors, lawyers, judges, and numerous events across the nation, and aboard cruise ships. In 2008, you talked about your the cruise ships, but the jazz musicians for Celebrity Cruise Lines, which you carried that title over to the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
Yes.
Okay. So after such an amazing career, mostly playing Billy Preston, we say R&B, rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strict all R&B.
So you came back to your original passion, which is jazz.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And was it one day you said, did you woke up and said, I want to, or was it always tugging at you?
It was always there. I can't even remember exactly how I got back to playing jazz. I think somebody asked me to come play or something, and I just went back to it. I don't even remember how I got back to playing. But it was during the time of after the main ingredient, because then I went with Freddie Hubbard, Carmen McCrae, and then that's how it came back around.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now.
Okay. What is it like performing on cruise ships? I never done it. I know people that have done it. What is it like?
It's great, man. The thing about it, you have a captive audience every night. Mm-hmm. You know, the people appreciate what you're doing.
So do you go out for a certain amount of time, for a week? How does that work?
Well, the basic cruise is 7 days. It's Saturday to Saturday or either Sunday to Sunday. But okay. When I go out, I'm out 4 weeks at a time. I go out for 4 weeks and I'm home for 4 weeks and go back out again.
And you don't get seasick and none of that stuff?
No, them ships are so big you don't even know you're on them, man.
Really? Wow.
You can't even feel them moving.
Wow.
That's just that big. It feels like being in a hotel.
Okay.
And that's basically what it is, a floating hotel.
And I think you told me you met your wife at the cruise ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I met her in 2000. Jan. Yeah. I met my wife Jan back in 2013.
Okay.
On a celebrity ship.
Okay. Yes.
And matter of fact, it was her and her family, and they came in to hear us one night. And the way we met, I said, I saw she was hanging out, and I asked her, I said, "You a nurse?" She looks at me all funny. She said, "No, I'm not no nurse." No, I didn't question it no further. But from that night on, I think we met the next night and went and had wine or something like that, you know. But yeah, that was 2013, December 5th.
Oh,
and
wow.
we're coming up on that first meeting anniversary in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We've been together ever since. And
yeah.
I like to say she's a jazz lover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And her cousin is Cyrus Chestnut.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. We don't talk about too much, but her
See?
cousin is Cyrus Chestnut.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw Cyrus a couple weeks ago, man. Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyrus was a bad dude, man.
He's a very nice person.
You know what?
Too.
He was I went to see Roberta Flack. She made a surprise visit to Howard, and because you know Cyrus is a professor at Howard University.
I just learned that.
Yeah, and but he was playing her back, you know, some of her songs in the background. But yeah, I got on tape. I you know, video actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went because I never seen Roberta Flack, so I went there. So yeah, I just saw Cyrus. Wow, that's her cousin?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I've met him. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful cat.
I met Roberta Flack one time when she was with Donny Hathaway.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we winding down.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Really?
But we got to talk about your debut CD entitled Manny Kellough and Friends. I got it right, Manny Kellough and Friends?
Yeah, I mean, I just say Manny Kellogg.
Manny Kellough?
Yeah, Manny Kellogg and Friends.
Okay.
Speaking of jazz.
Okay.
East
So
Coast
it's
to
okay
West
to call
Coast.
you Manny Kellough?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But it's with Kellough,
Yeah.
not Ougg.
Yeah. I got you.
I wish I was a part of that family.
And I want to say I'm honored to be a part of that. Your debut CD, man, and a lot of fun. William Knowles just did the arrangements, man. He's awesome.
Yes.
And just a wonderful musician. You want to talk about your CD?
Sure, thank you. I had a new CD was released back September. Again, it's called Manny Kellogg and Friends, Speaking of Jazz, East to West Coast. And I'm just so happy and excited to have such wonderful players.
Yeah.
You know, on the East Coast, I had William Knowles, you mentioned. He was the arranger and also my co-producer. I'm glad to have you playing a powerful alto sax on there. I love it, man. And we had West Sugar Bowles.
Yes, sir.
Playing the bass, holding it down. Michael Thomas, trumpeter. And the man himself, the vocalist extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Julian Hempkins.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's just a pleasure to be with you cats, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just so honored to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And be able to share it with people coming up pretty quick. We're going to be able to play some tunes.
Yeah.
To share with the
then
people.
you got your daughters on it.
Yes.
Speaking and then, man, you have them artists that you play with in the West Coast. They are like that. I'm trying to tell you.
Yes. It was my daughter, which was her first time ever singing jazz.
Really?
Very first time, and the very first time me and her ever worked together.
Come on. Are you serious? I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
She sound like a pro.
Well, she basically is, because she sings with some of the stage shows in Vegas.
Okay.
And I love her dearly, man. But you know, she's first time we've ever worked together, and first time she's ever sang jazz.
Wow.
You know, the tune that she sang was her favorite tune. You know, When I Fall in Love.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, then let's record it.
Yeah.
So she didn't know the arrangement.
Wow.
Or anything. You know, we played the arrangement and on the East Coast. We took the track to the West Coast. She laid it down. Never heard it. She laid it down in one track, one take. Yeah.
Beautiful.
She said, "Is that okay, Daddy?" I said, "Baby, that's fine." You know. Moving on to Oakland, California, I had on piano. His name was Matt Clark. Monster player. On bass, Gary Brown, monster player. And if you listen to Gary Brown and West Sugar Bowles, you can't tell the difference.
Exactly.
You know, same with Matt and the cats are just, the way it just blended, you know. And the lady that puts the J in jazz, the J in jazz, her name was Azure McCall. And I mean, when you speak of jazz vocalists, Azure McCall.
Yeah, well, when I heard her, I said, "Oh, she you know, you know." I mean, you could tell she's been paid to do. She was just sound, you know.
She's out there. I love her, and every chance I get, we're working together.
Yeah, she
stays
wonderful.
busy, but she always makes time to come be with
Beautiful.
Manny.
Yeah, beautiful.
She called me Manuelo.
Yeah.
What's up, Manuelo?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What brought you to the East Coast or to DC?
That's when I met my wife, man.
Oh, that's right. That's okay.
Because I was living in Las Vegas.
Okay, and
Moved out to the to the East Coast.
Yeah.
I've been here ever since. 2014, I moved out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that transition? I mean, you had to restart. That's kind of a big move. Like, I guess, like going from, like if I left, I'm from Philly, and I still got some little roots in Philly, but the majority of my development has been in the the DMV, and I would say if I would get up and go to another state, it'd be like starting all over again.
Basically, that's what I did, and I'm still starting over.
Really? Wow.
Because like you said, my roots are L.A. and Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. If you don't mind.
You know the terrain in L.A. and Vegas, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's totally changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The music scene in L.A. is totally changed. The Vegas music scene is changed. It's still there, but nothing like it used to be. Mm-hmm. But again, I picked up and moved out here on faith.
On faith?
Yeah, because I didn't know anybody other than my wife, man.
Wow.
And she made everything comfortable. I moved out here and ran into people like you. Mm-hmm. West Sugar Bowles was the very first person musically that I met out here.
Wow.
And we went to see him one night he was playing behind Sandra Y at a little place called Cafe Agape. Mm-hmm. And we went to see him, and I went up and introduced myself to him and told him who I was. He said, "Oh, drummer, man, I had a call for a drummer a little while ago." He said, "Oh, don't worry, man. I'm glad to meet you, man. I got your back."
Yeah.
Until this very day,
Beautiful.
He's been like that, and I cannot say anything other than that.
Yeah.
Wes has got my back.
Beautiful.
And every night, every day, every other day when we get a chance, he calls, "How's your back doing? How you doing? How you doing, bro?" I never forgot that, and I met such people, great people like you and all the players on the CD, man. It's just wonderful. Dick, I'm people from WPFW.
Yeah.
I can go on and name everybody, but when you start, you got to keep going.
You and the family now. Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And we got something coming up.
Yes, we do.
A CD release.
Yes.
Soon, the 5th, November 5th at Westminster.
Yes, we do, don't we?
Yeah, it's part of Jazz Night.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward. I'm nervous.
You nervous?
But I'm looking forward to it.
It's
going to be such an honor to play with such great players. Mm-hmm. To be surrounded with you cats.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, but I'm never going to take it for granted.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to just be surrounded in such a warm blanket.
Yeah.
When you have players like you cats around, how can you go wrong? Not only are you good players, but you're good people.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, man.
Thank you.
You guys are good people, man. I mean, not just saying it.
Yeah.
Every one of y'all that have been working, we've been working together, work with me on this project, are just good, hard people.
Yeah.
Ain't no egos. Well, you know from yourself when we there, wasn't no ego, wasn't no flare up. Not one time. We sat down and laughed most of the time.
And then so that good food at the crib. Oh man, y'all throw that. That's another thing we can talk about. You know how to blaze, man.
That's my other major, man. I'm a
Really?
certified chef. Yeah, and I love to cook.
Man.
Photography and cooking.
Oh, we go over there, man. We grew up.
Yes, shoot. My wife helped, man. We get in that kitchen and just have a good time.
Yeah.
It's about the fellowship and anything.
Yeah. No doubt. We have some final questions. We're coming to the end. How many kids do you have?
One.
Okay. Yeah.
One by my wife, my daughter's mother, and then two with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Everybody's grown.
Yes.
They're not kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grown folk.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you, what was it like? What was the feeling like performing and recording with your daughter? I mean, were you proud? I mean, was that a proud dad moment?
I'm still proud. I was proud of it before then because she called me.
And what's her name again? Give me her
Ashley.
Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley called me and said, Dad, guess what? I said, what, baby girl? I got a gold album. I said, for you kidding, for what? She said, because she's the guy that she sings with.
Wow.
That was her first time she did a recording and got her gold album.
Wow.
And she sent me a picture of it and everything. So I was really proud of her way back then to see her accomplishments. But Ashley had no choice. Her mother sings, her auntie sings. Everybody's musical in that family. Uncle sing, play, and her dad is a drummer. So how could you not get it?
Yeah.
You know, sing with my grandbaby.
Yeah.
She growing up in the womb hearing her sing.
Yeah.
Now little Melody, her name is Melody. Melody.
Yeah.
She sings. You know, she was singing to me on the phone the other day talking about, I'm going down. But I was so proud, man, and excited to be working with her. And to talk about it to this very day, it just gives me chills. I get choked up because it was the first time, you know.
Wow.
And I hope and pray it's not the last time.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next time.
Y'all done hit, you know, but wow, you said that was the first time?
Very first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so we winding down. Okay. Now, how's your wife Jan been instrumental in where you are today and your music, and how supportive has she been?
100%.
Yeah.
100% supportive.
It's a rhetorical question because I see her the support, but for just to share, gotta give the wife some love.
Absolutely.
You know
what Jan is very supportive to me, and the thing that she does, she always instills me that I sometimes I say, I can't do this. She said, yes, you can. You know, you're still the legend. You got the credits. You such and such and such. You know, but then she could also turn around and say, you ain't doing that. She got my back. You know, if it don't look right or don't feel good, it ain't gonna happen.
Gotcha.
You know, and I appreciate her for doing that for me.
Give her some love now. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so have you considered, and you've shared this with me, writing a book about your experiences? So
That's a very good question because I have written a book.
Yeah.
And it's in manuscript form.
Okay.
The name of the book is called If I Could, I Would Do It All Over Again. No Regrets. Like I said, it's in manuscript form, and I think you shared with me that I should probably get it rewritten, get it manuscripted or something like that. But I haven't found anyone yet that could do that for me. But yeah, it's finished. It's basically finished.
You just put it. You could get an editor. I don't know if you had gotten an editor or anything.
No, I have not.
Usually, they say you should always have an editor, just to make it, to bring your ideas and make it
all come together.
Yeah. If you already got it down, that's the first thing they say, to get an editor, and they check for grammatical stuff you probably can't see because you writing your stories, and they know how to. The editor can really make it book ready, you know.
Yeah.
And then, man, you can, just like you put your own CD out, you can put your own book out.
Really.
I tell people, that's the day we in. You don't wait. You don't need a publisher. You can self-publish it.
I've been told that, but I don't know how to do that. You know?
Yeah, it's very simple. It's not hard at all. Once you get it, like edited and a book, that you get a book designer, and I can help. I know someone, you know.
Very good. Very good.
And you can, with Amazon, you can sell it right on Amazon. You ain't got to worry about going and shipping out. Amazon gonna take their cut whenever you sell, whatever you charge, and they're gonna send you yours. That's simple.
Really?
They'll mail it out and they'll put the book together whenever somebody purchases. And you can buy a number of books as the publisher for like $2.50 per book. So and then if you want to sell hard copies at a gig or something,
On the gig, yeah.
yeah. So you can buy them at $2.50 and sell them for whatever, $2 and something cents, and sell them for whatever you sell them for. Yeah, man.
That's good. Yeah, I
Gotta
have
put your
to
story.
look into that one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would. You know, I'd like to, before we kind of wind up here, is just kind of touch more on this Friday coming up. And
Yeah.
again, we're going to have, we're going to do some old songs, new songs. We're going to do the stuff from the CD. And the CD is going to be available
Yeah. Yeah.
at Westminster for purchase. I'm going to have 2 CDs there. One of my earlier CDs and my new CDs will both be available for
Oh, wow.
purchase. Yeah.
So you have an earlier CD?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I have
Is
to
it
get
is
you
it jazz?
You know it's jazz.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, it's all jazz.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
Matter
right.
of fact, I have probably 2 more CDs that I've never really talked about. One that I have called Grits and Gravy.
Oh, you got stuff in the can you ain't even.
Yeah, hanging on the wall.
Oh,
Next time you
man,
come over, I
you
have to
gotta-
show that to
yeah.
you. Yeah,
Wow.
Grits and Gravy.
Yeah, you got to get that stuff out, man.
That was done in Las Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to hear all that.
All right.
That's
okay.
that's part of your legacy.
Yeah.
You know. Wow, that's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the CD release. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
We're gonna play it this
That's
week.
a great audience. Perform at Westminster. Great audience, and I know they're gonna love the music because it got that thing.
Yeah.
And then we did. You mentioned earlier. You did a tribute to Billy Preston. We did
Yes.
a jazz version of Nothing from Nothing.
It's never been done.
Yeah,
Nothing.
and it's really nice, man. The arrangement is beautiful. Everybody played on it, man. It's fun to play on, and you know I know they're gonna like that at the church.
That's good. I hope I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
really looking forward
Yeah,
to
so,
it,
yeah,
man.
So be on like I said.
Yes, I'm glad.
My next question was going to be, what's next for Manny Kellough?
Speaking of interviews, I got a lot of interviews coming up. Matter of fact, I have an interview coming up before next week, which is a big interview coming up with WPFW on Thursday. We already talked about the thing coming up with Billy Preston. Into February, I believe it was February 12th, we're at Leisure World.
Okay.
We're going to be playing out there. I think I told you about that. And we're already into next year.
Yeah.
And looking up to bigger things after that. So we never know what's going to happen because there's people coming out Friday to hear us.
No doubt.
So be prepared when I call you.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
You can look in the camera. How can people contact you and learn more about what you're doing?
You can contact me on my website, which is mannykellogg.net. Also, you can reach me on Facebook. I can also be reached by my email, which is kellogg48.com. I think that's about it. I won't give out no phone number.
Okay. That's all good. That's enough. That's enough.
But you know, I don't think I would mind giving out a phone number. I would say if you do reach me if you do call my phone number, you have to be sure to leave a message. Don't just call and hang up because you won't get a call back. So I can be reached at 702-748-0077. That's my cell, but you have to leave a message because I get so many calls.
Yeah.
You know, but be sure to leave a message, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
All right. Well, my brother, man, I'm really grateful and honored to be able to talk to you and for you to share a part of your legacy with us here at on A Conversation in Jazz. And thank you. And we all wish you the great things in the future and great success on the new CD.
Thank you, sir.
And looking forward to hitting with you at Westminster Jazz Night.
Friday night, y'all come out. Don't be late. Come get some good food and hear some great jazz and hear some great players. You know, Antonio, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I love you, man.
Thank you, man. Love you, too,
know,
man.
God bless your heart, man.
Thank
you got a beautiful spirit and a beautiful heart, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Whatever you're doing, whatever you plan to do, keep it up, man. Keep it up, because it's needed.
Thank you.
Keep on living.
There you go.
Keep on living.
All right. There it is. What can you say? You've been listening to the one and only Mr. Manny Kellough, and you know, that's the history, that's the legacy. So we're right here on A Conversation in Jazz, and we'll see you on the next one.